T2 Biosystems is down 14% today in reaction to news that one of their largest shareholders, CR Group, sold about $3 million worth of stock. So the fact that one of the largest shareholders in this stock is selling down its position of 10 million shares. Obviously, they only sold 3.8 million, but they still have a good amount of selling to do if they're looking to kind of exit the stock. So it is definitely the reason why shares are lower today, right? It's because of this news. And what I'll do in today's video is I'll go over a couple things you need to know about this stock. And then at the end of the video, I will go over the chart of the stock and give a price prediction. So with that being said, obviously this is bad news. And also it's worth noting that in the past 6 months, there have been a total of 11 insider trades, which resulted in about the sale of 10 million company shares and the purchase of 48 million shares. So we're seeing insider buying for this company over the past 12 months. But with that being said, let's jump right in to short interest for the stock. So right now, we can see that the short interest as a percent of float is at 8.6%. And then we can also see that the short shares available is about 1.6 million shares. But this was briefly actually 0 shares just about 3 hours ago. So it is definitely worth noting that it's getting kind of tough to find shares to short. We saw that briefly hit 0 for an hour here in today's trading session. And then also it's tough to short the stock on the short borrow fee rate side as well, because currently we're seeing the short borrow fee rate at 45%, which basically, for those that don't know, tells you that short sellers are having to pay 45% per year to actually short this stock. So they simply have to pay 45% to investors who are lending out the stock. This is significant because the average short borrow fee rate is anywhere from 0.3 to 3%. So to be at 45% signals to us that it's very expensive to short this stock right now, which obviously is good from a shareholder perspective and a short squeeze potential perspective as well. So with that being said, I'll go into the most interesting short squeeze number that you need to know. So right now we have failure to deliver numbers at all-time highs. What does this mean? So if you don't know what this means, I'll explain it briefly. This basically means that within the next 60 days, there needs to be 776,000 shares bought by short sellers, or the SEC will come after the firms that are not compliant. So basically what this means is that when a short seller actually shorts a stock, they're borrowing it right from that investor, and they're going out and they're selling it. But what they have to do is they have to actually deliver those shares back to investors once they ask for those shares back from those short sellers. So instead of delivering these shares, they are actually failing to deliver, which is technically allowed. The SEC gives short sellers 60 days to return the proper shares. So just simply, if you couldn't kind of follow that, all you need to know here is that within the next 60 days, there will be 776,000 shares bought by short sellers to actually deliver their shares back to investors. And then I also wanted to cover a recent news event for the stock. So TTOO confirmed FDA clearance for their biothreat panel. So obviously, this is definitely good news that they received from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. This was earlier in the week. We saw shares kind of rise in anticipation to this, and then we saw a sell-off post this news, which I didn't really understand much, to be honest. You see a lot of this in the market, right? You see kind of a buy the rumor, sell the actual event, right? And that's kind of what happened with T2 Biothreat. So The biofirm announced that T2 Biothreat panel had received clearance from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, as the clearance allows the company to begin selling and marketing its molecular diagnostic test in the United States. It should be a major growth driver for this company. So this is definitely a catalyst for this company long term. The issue is, a lot of people just use this event to kind of get out of their positions. And then on paper, there's no reason for T2 Biothreat. There's no reason for the stock to be selling off in reaction to this news. The company describes the panel as the first and only FDA-cleared product able to simultaneously detect 6 high-priority biothreat pathogens and the only FDA-cleared multi-target biothreat product developed and manufactured by a U.S.-owned company. That sounds like a product with potential to make a major splash, which I would definitely, kind of echo that sentiment. So, this is a good thing for the stock, but obviously we saw a sell-off. But with that being said, let's take a look at the fundamentals and the financials of this company. So I'll start off with the financials here. So we can see here that the company has a price-to-sales ratio of 0.6, which is actually below the company's 5-year average of 6.5. So on a price-to-sales basis, the company's trading at a pretty massive discount relative to its own history and relative to the sector median of 3.5. And then when we take a look at the growth metrics here, we can see that revenue growth for the past year has been minus 52%. So revenue growth has declined 52%. And then revenue growth for the next 12 months is projected to drop another 8%. And this is definitely a stark contrast from T2's historical growth metrics of about 48%. So when we take a look at the valuation, the real reason this stock is trading at a discount relative to its historical valuation is that it's growing at a slower rate than it has in the past as well. So that is kind of why that discount is in the stock. And then also the gross profit margins do look pretty poor for this company. So we have a gross profit margin of minus 233%, which is definitely signals that the company needs to kind of change some of its operations to obviously be a profitable company. And then one warning I wanted to give here is that this balance sheet is extremely unsustainable. So unfortunately, we have about $16 million in cash and then about $59 million in debt. This tells you that the company has a significant amount more debt than cash. And their net operating cash flow for the past 12 months has been minus $51 million. So they're burning tens of millions of dollars just to stay kind of solvent here. So that really tells me that, this company's in a pretty poor spot when it comes to its balance sheet. And they're definitely going to have to figure something out in terms of a potential, buyout, or if it's, issuing new shares, issuing new debt. The company's going to have to figure out a solution for their balance sheet. And then, with that being said, let's take a look at the ownership breakdown. So we can see that 82% of the float of this company's stock is owned by the public. So retail investors like me and you own 82% of this company, which definitely signals that the stock is widely influenced by retail traders. Given the massive importance of the retail trading community, I thought it would make sense to look at some search trends. So this here shows me the amount of searches that are happening on Google for this stock. So we actually reached a new search trend high about mid-August for this stock. And we're trading at about, or we're not trading, but we're at about 76% of this peak search volume right now. So that signals to you that retail traders are definitely still very interested in this stock, which is definitely a good thing to see for this company, given they have a massive retail trading following. So with all that being said, let's dive right into the chart. So I'll give a price prediction for this company right now. So we can see that over the past couple, really years, volumes have been extremely low for this stock as the stock has kind of fallen off a cliff, unfortunately. And we recently just saw volumes spike back up, and that has coincided with a move higher. Anytime you see a massive drop in a stock's price, which is occurring at the same time as a massive drop in volume, that signals that selling pressure is kind of subsiding. And now that we got this massive jump in volume, it signals that the pricing trend may be reversing here for T2. So volume would say that this stock is likely going to move higher, and it is my opinion that this stock is likely going to find a bottom here around the 100-day moving average at about 23 cents, as this 100-day moving average acted as support in September and in August of this year and in early August as well. So I believe this 200-day moving average acts as support for the stock, and we see a move higher over the coming weeks. How high? Well, it's really a tough one to call, but I do think we could see a move up to the 200-day moving average at around 62 cents over the coming weeks. I do think that would be a pretty logical, quick move for this company. So keep that in mind. Keep this 200-day moving average on your chart. I do think it is likely that we see this 100-day moving average hold, and we see a move higher over the coming weeks for this outperforming stock. This stock has outperformed the general market, basically since July. So good things ahead. Looking when we look at this chart, so long term, this company definitely has some structural issues they need to solve before I say it's a good long term buy. But in terms of a trade, when we look at the technical analysis, when we look at the short interest, it does seem like this company has a high likelihood to possibly double in price over the coming days to weeks. So that's my opinion on T2 Biosystems. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will end it there. If you got some value from this video, please leave a like. We post company breakdowns and important market moving news on this channel on a daily basis, so make sure you are subscribed. If you would like to receive my daily portfolio moves, my exits, my entries, and see how me and my team of analysts are trading the markets, join the Discord through the link in the description below to get our free 7-day trial. Also, if you would like to join our free daily newsletter, sign up to our Substack, which is linked below as well. With that being said, good luck everyone. Happy trading, happy investing.